The title of this book doesn't quite fit, but they were kind of stuck because they already used the title Karen's Witch on a different book. That's a problem with the naming convention of this series. You can't have more than one book about similar topics or about the same character.
Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review.
This book was written by Anne Martin. Karen notices her teacher's earlobes don't match. That's a weird note to start the book on. Well, Earlobe Lady announces their school is having a costume parade this year. Their class has to dress up like characters from books. I'm sure all the parents were mad about this. Natalie probably went home crying because she had her heart set on being a mermaid this year, but now she can't because the school picked her costume theme. Not to mention the costume categories are totally arbitrary. The Little Mermaid is a movie, TV show, cartoon, and book character. But the school says those are separate categories with no overlap. Sorry, kids. Stony Brook Elementary says animated movies don't exist. Normally, Karen's parents let her do whatever she wants, and they never punish her whenever she does something bad. In this book, however, Karen's dad is a disciplinarian. He punishes Karen for scaring her brother even after she was told to stop. Don't worry though, Dad hasn't become a better parent. He's only getting involved in Karen's life because the book needs a reason for Karen to talk to the little witch. Next book, Dad will go back to not caring about her. As we know, Karen thinks her next-door neighbor is a witch. Mrs. Porter announces her 7-year-old granddaughter Druscilla is coming to stay for a few weeks. Dad forces Karen to play with Druscilla multiple times. Karen worries Druscilla is a little witch. Druscilla wears all black clothing and eats mushroom sandwiches. That confirms it. She is 100% a witch. Or she's a goth second grader who doesn't pack her own lunch. Hard to tell. Melody Corman says Druscilla made flowers magically appear at school. I wish we learned more about this. Karen complains Melody's untrustworthy because her imagination likes to run away with her. Look who's talking, Karen! Karen and her friends spy on Druscilla twice. When Drew talks to them, Karen asks if she's a witch. Druscilla says yes, and she makes up a bunch of witch herbs and spells. It's obvious these are fake and she's coming up with them off the top of her head. Karen is an idiot, though, so she believes Druscilla. Karen decides to go as Pippi Longstocking for Halloween. She's embarrassed when Andrew wears a costume to the school's costume parade. As in, Karen is so embarrassed, she orders Andrew to pretend they're not related. I don't know why she's so mad at him. He's wearing a costume to a costume event. That makes total sense to me. Heck, I have seen parents dress up in costume just to drop their kids off at school on Halloween. This is perfectly normal behavior. Karen and her friends go to a Halloween party at Druscilla's house. Karen's terrified until she sees that Drew and her grandma are dressed as pumpkins. Well, for heaven's sake! Pumpkins aren't scary. They can't be witches after all. They must be normal people with no Halloween sense. Druscilla admits she's not really a witch. She made that up for fun. But you never can tell about her grandmother. The end. Post-book follow-up. Here's the Karen drinking game. She acted out in all of her usual ways. Druscilla is strangely fascinating. No joke, she is way more interesting than she has any right to be. She even appears in the main Babysitter's Club series after this book. Centering a book around an interesting new character works well. There are 3 chapters where Karen and friends decorate for Halloween with pumpkins and ghosts. They learn how to sing the Monster Mash. These holiday fun chapters are not bad, but I feel like this series has had too many throwaway chapters recently. They take up over a quarter of the book. And there's the problem of repetition. Compare this book's trick-or-treating chapter with the one in last year's Halloween book. They're basically the same. This problem will only get worse as we have many more holiday-themed books over the course of this series. But like I said, the holiday chapters in this book aren't bad, they're just bad in the larger context of the series. Overall, it's a good book. The Drew storyline was good, and the preparing for Halloween stuff was fun. The school storyline was probably the weakest, but it's still okay. I give Babysitter's Little Sister number 22, Karen's Little Witch, a thumbs up.